Hello and welcome to today's YouTube live stream. So today is a teacher strike day and there's a number of students that are off from school because of the teacher strikes. A lot of year 11s have now been called into school, so I was asked by a couple of my year 11 students to run this class, but on Monday their schools actually decided to have the year 11 students in. So a lot of them aren't going to be away, but they'll be watching the recording of this. But if you are off school today, then this should hopefully help you with your maths revision. So we're going to be concentrating on hard questions from 2017 papers, so slightly older papers. We're looking at Edexcel and AQA syllabus questions. Okay, so if you want to download the papers, I've left the front sheet for each paper with you. So we're going to be looking at paper 2 from June 2017, Edexcel, and we're going to look at a couple of questions here. We are going to look at number 19, and just number 19 on this one. So let me rewrite the question. So we have 2 minus x add 2 over x minus 3, take away x minus 6 over x plus 3. And we need to write this as a single fraction in the form of this. So what I need to do is to find a common denominator. Now it's going to help if I write this 2 as 2 over 1. Now if I need a common denominator, I need to find the common denominator of 1, x minus 3 and x plus 3. And the common denominator for that is going to be that times that, which will be x plus 3 and x minus 3. Now to make the denominator here x plus 3, x minus 3, I need to times it by x plus 3 and x minus 3. So I need to times the 2 by x plus 3 and x minus 3. Then there's a minus here, there's an x plus 2 already. And if I need to make the denominator here x minus 3 and x plus 3, I need to times the top by x plus 3 as well. And then if we have x plus 3 as a denominator, we need to times it by x minus 3. So it's going to be minus, and then x minus 6, and then an x minus 3. Now we can multiply out the numerators only for now. So if we multiply this first bit out, x plus 3 and x minus 3 is actually x squared minus 9. So if we times that by 2, it's 2x squared minus 18. Then we have x squared, but there's a minus here, so minus x squared. We have a 2x and a 3x, that's 5x, but then there's a minus here, so that's minus 5x. 2 times 3 is 6, but a minus 6 there. And then we have x times x is x squared, but another minus. Minus 6x minus 3x is minus 9x, but with this minus it makes it a plus 9x. Minus 6 times minus 3 is 18, with that minus is minus 18. And that's all over x plus 3 and x minus 3. Now if we simplify the numerator, the 2x squared, the minus x squared and the minus x squared, those three cancel each other out. And then what do we have left? Well, we have a 9x take away 5x, which is 4x. And then we have a minus 18, another minus 18, so that's minus 36, and a minus 42. And then if we multiply out the bottom here, we get x squared minus 9. So that simplifies down to that at the moment. Can we go any further? Well, we can take out a factor of 2, but it says give your answer in this form. So our final answer is already in this form, where A is 4 and B is minus 42, and that will get you 4 marks. Okay. So welcome in the chat. You're welcome to say hello and introduce yourself. If you've got any questions as I go through here, just let me know. We can go and I'll answer your follow-up questions. The next question we're looking at is from the paper 3 from June 2017, Edexcel again. And we're looking at question number 6, and it's about density. So density of apple juice is 1.05 grams per centimeter cubed. So the formula for density is equal to mass divided by volume. So apple juice is, the density of apple juice is 1.05. the density of fruit syrup is 1.4 and density of water or carbonated water, I'll just put water here, is 0.99. Now 25 centimeters cubed, so that's a volume, is mixed with 15 centimeters cubed, so that's also a volume, and 280 centimeters cubed, again a volume, makes a drink with a volume of 320. Work out the density of the drink. Okay, so with the volume of apple juice and the density of apple juice, we can work out the mass of apple juice. So if we rearrange this formula, we can get mass equals density times volume. So if I want to work out the mass of the apple juice, then it's going to be 1.05 times 25. So 1.05 times 25. So that will be 26.25. Then we can work out the mass of the fruit syrup. And that's going to be 1.4 times 15. And that's going to be 21. So this is going to be in grams, by the way, and that's in grams. And then we can work out the mass of the carbonated water. So that's going to be 0.99 times 280. And that is 277.2 grams. So we have the mass of the individual parts of the drink. We can add that up to work out the total mass. So this plus this plus this is going to be 324.45. So that is the total mass of the carbonated drink. Now we also know that the volume of the drink, total mass of the whole drink, and then the volume of the drink is 320. So the question is, what is the density of the drink? Well, the density of the drink is mass divided by volume. So the mass of the drink is 324.45 divided by 320. And if we work that out to two decimal places, as it says there, the answer is 1.01. So 1.01 grams per centimeter cubed. Okay, so that's how you do that one. So I've tried to pick a variety of different topics today. Number 19 next. So a quadratic inequality. So with this one, I know you can probably do this quicker, especially if you use your calculator. But if we do this without the calculator first, I want to sketch this graph. So first thing I want you to do is to identify the shape, the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So the shape, we need to figure out, is it a U-shape or an upside down U-shape? Now since this value here, the x squared coefficient is 2, it's bigger than 1, it's a U-shaped graph. Yeah, so if a is bigger than 0, it's this, and if a is smaller than 0, it's that. So the shape is a U-shaped graph. The y-intercept is -2. And then we need to find the x-intercept. Now the best way to find the x-intercept is to solve the quadratic, hopefully by factorizing. So let's see if that factorizes. 2x and x, 2 there, 1 there. Does that work? Plus there, minus there. Yeah, that seems to work. So if we make that equal to 0, then 2x minus 1 is 0. So 2x equals 1 and x is a half. And if x plus 2 equals 0, x is equal to 0, take away 2, minus 2. So those are our two x-intercepts. So x equals a half and x equals -2. Of course, because it's a calculator paper, you could get your calculator to do this as well. Next, we draw our graph. So because we've done this work here, it's really easy to draw our graph. We know the y-intercept is at -2. We know the x-intercept is at 1/2 and at -2. And then we need to draw a U-shaped graph. Now the one mistake you could make from here is if you try and draw your graph like this. Okay, a quadratic graph is always symmetrical, and you can clearly see that that graph is not symmetrical. A lot of students try and make the y-intercept the minimum point or the maximum point. We want to make sure we don't do that. We need to make it look symmetrical. So the actual lowest point is going to be somewhere to the left of that. So that looks a bit more realistic. Now I'm interested in where this graph is bigger than 0. So bigger than 0 means above the x-axis. So that's referring to this region here and this region here. So first of all, how do I define this region? Well, everything to the left of -2. So x is less than -2. And this region here is everything to the right of 1/2. X is bigger than 1/2, and it could be this one or this one. So that's your answer for 3 marks. Now, while we're on this, it probably makes sense that I just go through the other type of question you could get on this, and that would be if the question was exactly the same, except instead of bigger than 0, it was smaller than 0. All of this stuff would be the same, even your sketching the graph would be the same. The only bit that's going to be different is the bit that's done in blue ink. And below 0 means below the x-axis, and that's referring to this region here. Now can you see that this is one continuous region? If it's one continuous region, your solution will be in this form. And the numbers that we have on either side are -2 and 1/2. Those are our numbers. So that's number 19. So I've just taken like the most important questions in here. Now those of you that come to the classes that we do, the other questions that I've ignored, they were in the recording for the file that I uploaded a couple of days ago. So you can find, so if you've got the whole paper here, I've picked out about 5 questions from each paper, and I've gone through most of them in the recording, and then the ones I haven't gone through in the recording, I'm going through today. So number 9, this is a 3-mark question. It took 5 cleaners 4.5 hours to clean all the rooms in the hotel. There are only 3 cleaners to clean all the rooms today. Each cleaner is paid $8.20 for each hour or part of an hour that they work. How much will the cleaner be paid today? So let's see what we can do on this one. So if there's 5 cleaners and it takes them 4.5 hours, the first thing I need to do is multiply 5 by 4.5. And that's going to give me 22.5. And that's going to be that's the number of workers or cleaners times hours. So I'm going to call that cleaner hours. So the job of cleaning all the rooms takes 22.5 cleaner hours. So if I had 1 person, it would take that 1 person 22.5 hours to clean the whole thing. If I had 10 people, then it would take me 22.5 divided by 10, which would be 2.25 hours to clean the whole thing. So if I've got 3 people, so with only 3 cleaners, then it's going to be, not equals, with 3 cleaners, it's going to take me 22.5 cleaner hours divided by the 3 cleaners, which means it's going to take me 7.5 hours to clean it. Now, how much will each cleaner be paid today? Well, each cleaner is working 7.5 hours. So it's 7.5 multiplied by the hourly rate of $8.20. So each cleaner is paid $8.20 for each hour or part of, okay, so this bit's important here. For each hour or part of an hour. So they've actually worked, they're going to actually get paid for 8 hours. Because they're going to get paid the $8.20 for that extra half hour as well. So we're going to do it for 8 hours. So instead of $7.50, it's going to be 8 times by £8.20. So if we do 8 times £8.20, we get £65.60. So each cleaner is going to make £65.60 today. And that will get you 3 marks on that question there. Right, regions. This is a type of question that a lot of students struggle with, and they're always wanting more practice on this type of question. So, there are 3 lines which we need to draw. Now, the first thing we need to notice is the inequalities. Can you see all of them are greater than or less than? We don't have any greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, because greater than or less than means that we draw a dashed line. Greater than or equal to or less than or equal to means we draw a solid line. So in my diagram there's going to be no solid lines, there's only going to be dashed lines. And I've got 3. Now the one I like to start with is the one that looks more complicated, and to me this one looks more complicated. X plus y is less than 5. So the equation I'm going to be drawing is x plus y equals 5. And you can rearrange that to make y equals minus x plus 5 if you prefer. But this is not too bad. The 2 coordinates add to 5. So this is just a line which goes through 5 there and 5 there. And then over here it will go through 3, 2 or 4, 1 or 1, 4 or even 6 minus 1. So this is that middle one. Now I'm interested in when x plus y is smaller than 5. So I'm interested in everything below this graph and below this line. So what I'm not interested in is everything above. So I'm going to get rid of what I don't want. So that's gone. So let's color code this. Let's use a different color now. So the next most complicated one I'll say is this one. Y is bigger than 2x. So I'm going to draw the graph y equals 2x. And I know that that crosses through the origin. When x equals 1, y will equal 2. When x equals 2, y equals 4. When x equals 3, y will equal minus 6. So you can see the type of line we're going to be drawing here. Use a ruler obviously when you're doing this. It's a bit difficult for me to use a ruler. And I'm interested in when y is bigger than 2x. So when is y bigger than 2x? So y is equal to 2x here. Where is y bigger than 2x? So y is bigger than 2x is going to be, so if you're unsure of this, what you can do is you can pick a coordinate like there. So that coordinate there is the coordinate x equals 1, y equals 3. Now, if I substitute them into here, I get 3 is bigger than 2 times 1. Is this statement true? Yes. So this statement is true. So y is bigger than 2x. So this is the region that I'm actually interested in. Okay, so this is a region I'm interested in. So let me just check. That doesn't look right. Y is bigger than 2x. Yeah, okay. That seems a bit strange. But okay, let's go with it. Okay, so y is bigger than 2x is that. And then finally, y is bigger than 1. So y equals 1 is this line here. This is y equals 1. So y is bigger than 1 is everything above here. So I'm going to get rid of everything below here. Now, there's either a mistake in the question here, x is 1. I think there's a mistake in this question because we don't have a region that's left. So the answer should be like a simple region like this. So I'm not sure if the formatting of the question has made this question wrong, but this is the bit that we need. So we've got this little triangle in the middle, and that's the region R. So if it was y is less, I feel that should be part of the question there. So sorry about that, I'm not sure why it's like that. Number 22. F and g are functions such that f of x is that and g of x is that. So I will start off by rewriting them. Now I ask myself, what does the function f do with its input? Well, what it does to its input is it multiplies it by 5 and then adds 3 to it. Then g of x is equal to ax plus b. What does g of x do to its input? It multiplies it by a and then adds b. Then it talks about g of 3. Well, g of 3 is, I just substitute 3 in for x, which will be a times 3, 3a, plus b. And there's a mention of g of 1 here, so let's work out g of 1. So g of 1 is a times 1 plus b is a plus b. Now, f to the minus 1 of 33. What's f to the minus 1 of 33? Well, that would be, we'd have to find the inverse of this function. So to find the inverse, I'm going to write it in the form of y equals 5x plus 3. We switch the x's and the y's around, so this becomes x equals 5y plus 3, and then we make y the subject. So this will become x take away 3 divided by 5 equals y. So f to the minus 1 of x is x minus 3 all over 5. So now f to the minus 1 of 3, so f to the minus 1 of 33 is 33 take away 3 divided by 5, which is 30 divided by 5, 6. So we have 6 is equal to a plus b. Okay, so a plus b is equal to 6. And we also know that g of 3 is 3a plus b, but it says g of 3 is 20. So 3a plus b is 20. Now what we have here is a simultaneous equation. Now to solve this simultaneous equation, it's not that difficult because we have a 1b here and 1b here. So if we'll do the bottom, take away the top, we get 3a take away a, which is 2a. b take away b cancels. 20 take away 6 is 14. And then a is 14 divided by 2, which is 7. So a is 7, and if we substitute that into this first one, 7 plus something is 6. So b is 6, take away 7, minus 1. So the answer is minus 1. And that one. Okay, next we're going to have a look at the November paper 3 from 2017. And we are looking at question number 14 on this one. And we're looking at multiple now. So, and then we're going to go on to some AQA ones after that. Alright, so we've got cone A and cone B are mathematically similar. So mathematically similar means that one is basically an enlargement of the other. Which one is bigger? The ratio of volume A to B is 27 to 8. Okay, so A is the bigger one and B is the smaller one. So the ratio of volumes of A to B is 27 to 8. Now from here we can work out the ratio of length. Normally we get the ratio of length and we are asked to work out the ratio of volume. But in this one we're going the other way around. So to go from length to volume we cube everything. To go from volume to length we cube root everything. So cube root of 27 is 3, cube root of 8 is 2. So the ratio of length is 3 to 2. Then it's talking about the surface area. So we need to work out the ratio of area. And the ratio of area is going to be 3 squared and 2 squared, so 9, 4. Okay, so the ratio of areas is 9 to 4, and the surface area of A is 297. So I can put 297 here. I need to work out the ratio and the surface area of B. Well, it's actually telling me what it is, but I'm not going to use that. So how do I get from there to there? So I'll do 297 divided by 9, which is 33. So I need to times this by 33. So therefore I times this by 33, and 33 times 4 is 132, and that will get me the marks. Okay, so that's similar shapes with areas and volumes on that one. Okay, so now we're going to look at some AQA questions from 2017 as well. So we're going to start off with number 9. So which paper is this? This is paper 3 from 2017. Okay, so question number 9. There are 720 boys and 700 girls in a school. The probability that a boy is chosen at random studies French is 2/3, and a girl chosen at random studies French is 3/5. Work out the number of students who study French. Okay, so there are, first we can do boy chosen at random. So we need to find 2/3 of the boys. So 2/3 times 720 is 480. So there are 480 boys that study French. And then 3/5 of the girls. So 3/5 times 700, which is 420 girls study French. So the number of students that study French, you just add them up. So that's 900. And that's a very easy 3 marks. Work out the probability that a student chosen at random from the whole school does not study French. Well, in the whole school there are that plus that, so 700 plus 720, there are 1420 students. We've just worked out that 900 study French, so the ones that not study French are 1420 minus 900 is 520. So there are 520 students that do not study French. So the probability that I pick a student that does not study French is 520 out of 1420. And that will simplify to 52 over 142, or 26 over 71. And that's your answer for 2 marks. Next, number 17. Liam drives his car. He drives the first 9 miles in 9 minutes. He then drives at an average speed of 70 miles per hour for 1 hour 36, and he's got this information. Use the information to show that he uses less than 3 gallons of petrol for the drive. Right, so if he drives 9 miles in 9 minutes, now some of you may know this, but if you travel 9 miles in 9 minutes, you're traveling 1 mile in 1 minute, which means in 60 minutes you'll travel 60 miles. So this first bit is going at 60 miles per hour. He then drives at an average of 70 miles per hour. Alright, so miles traveled. So let's figure this out. So his average speed was initially 60 miles per hour, and he can travel 50 miles per gallon. Now he traveled 9 miles. So the first thing we're going to do is to work out the amount of petrol he's used in that first part of the journey. It's going to be the number of miles divided by the miles per gallon. So 9 divided by 50 is 0.18 gallons. So he's used 0.18 gallons in the first 9 miles of his trip. Then he's gone at 70 miles per hour, so we're looking at this second line of information. And we want to know how far he's travelled, because we know he's been travelling at that speed for that amount of time. So the first thing we need to do is to convert 1 hour 36 into just hours. Well, 1 hour is 1 hour, and 36 minutes is 36 out of 60. So put plus there, 1 plus, and then what does 36 over 60 simplify to, or what is it as a decimal? Well, let's simplify it. Divide by 6, 6 over 10. So 1 and 6 over 10, or simplify even further, 1 and 3/5. 3/5 is 0.6, so this is 1.6 hours. Okay, so we've been going for 1.6 hours, or you could have done 96 minutes and then divided that by 60 as well. That should give you the same answer. So we've got 1.6 hours, and we want to know how far he's traveled, so the distance. So speed equals distance divided by time, and I want to know the distance. So distance is equal to speed times time. So that's going to be 70 times 1.6. So grab your calculator, and that will give me 112 miles. How much fuel did I use? Well, I'm going to do 112 divided by 40, and that will give me the number of gallons, 2.8. And then the total fuel used will be this plus this, 2.98 gallons, which is less than 3. Okay, so that was number 17 there. Work out an expression for the nth term of the quadratic sequence for 3 marks. Alright, so this one is an actual shortcut for this, so I always forget the shortcut. I always do the long method, but let me try and remember the shortcut. And if I can't remember it, I'll figure it out. So the first thing you do is you write down the sequence, you work out the common differences. So this will be 15, then that would be 23 and 31. And then you work out the differences of the differences, and that gives me 8 and 8. So because the second differences are the same, we know it's a quadratic sequence, so it's of this form. And then these 3 things, we need to label them. So this is going to be 2a, and then I think this is a plus b plus c, and this is 2a plus b, I think, or 3a plus b. I'm going to figure this one out in a minute. So first of all, just from here, I can see that if 2a is equal to 8, then a is equal to 4. Right, now is it not 2a? Let me just check. 2a plus b equals 15. Let me see if this works. So 2a we know is 8. No, I think it's 3a. So 3a would be 12. 12 plus b is equal to 15. So b is equal to 15 minus 12, which is 3. And I'm sure this one is a plus b plus c. So a is 4 plus 3 plus c is equal to 2. So that's 7 plus c is 2. So c is equal to 2, take away 7, minus 5. So the answer is an squared, so that's going to be 4n squared, plus bn, so that's plus 3n minus 5. And that's the shortcut way of doing it. So when you do the shortcut, this is equal to 2a, this one is 3a plus b, and this is a plus b plus c. So this is the one I usually forget. Okay, I always get this confused. But a plus b plus c, that's easy to remember. 2a, that's easy to remember. And this one is 3a plus b. Now, I think I've made a video on the proof of this somewhere, but I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't know exactly where. I think it was a TikTok video I made last year. Proof. Okay, so prove that this is always positive. So x squared plus x plus 1. Now the best way to prove that a quadratic is always positive is to try and complete the square. Now it makes it a little bit tricky because the coefficient of x is odd. If the coefficient of x is even, if the coefficient of x is even, then it would be quite easy to complete the square. But because it's odd, we can still do it, it's just a little more complicated. So we got x plus and then a half of the coefficient, which is, so the coefficient is 1 half, that is a half, close bracket, squared. Then we're going to minus the half squared. Sorry, Mr. Beast fan, I just saw your comment now. Yes, you're right. Okay, so we have that, and all we need to do is to expand this last bit. X plus 1, so x plus a half squared minus a quarter plus 1 gives us plus 3/4. Now, this here is a square number. So because it's a square number, even if x was a negative number, when you add half to it, it may still be negative, but when you square it, it's going to be positive. So this bit here is always going to be greater than or equal to 0, because any square number is greater than or equal to 0. And this here is always equal to 3/4. So if you've got a number that's bigger than or equal to 0 and a number that's always 3/4, the answer you're going to get is going to be greater than or equal to 3/4, which is obviously going to be positive. So you just need to explain that in words to get the marks. Okay, so that was number 27. Let's go on to the November paper. So describe fully the transformation that maps triangle A to triangle B. So there are 4 types of transformation: rotation, reflection, translation, and stretch. Now, we know it's not a translation because it's a different size. We know it's not a rotation because the shape has not been turned. We know it's not a reflection because it's not a mirror image of it. And obviously if it was a reflection, it'd be the same size. So it can't be that either. So it has to be a stretch. Now, the question is not to perform a stretch, but describe the stretch. So the best way to do this is to get a ruler and find this corner, and the identical corner is here, and draw in a straight line from there to there and continue that straight line. Then pick a different corner. So this corner here and this corner here, join a line from there to there and continue that line. And then find a corner there and a corner there, join them together and continue. And what you notice is that they all meet at one point there. That point there is what we call the center of rotation. Okay, so describe fully the single transformation. The first thing we need to say is the word stretch. By saying the word stretch, you will automatically get 1 mark. By a scale factor equal to something, which we'll fill in a second. So I said center of rotation, center of enlargement. Okay, so you can say enlargement or stretch. Okay, enlargement's probably better. By a scale factor equal to something at center, and then this coordinate here, 5, 1. So all we need to do is fill in the scale factor. So we look at the base of this. The base of this measures 2. The base of this measures 6. So we're going from triangle A to triangle B. So we're actually making it smaller. So how do I get from a scale factor of 6 to a scale factor of 2? Well, 6 divided by 2 is 3, but because I'm making it smaller, it's going to be the reciprocal. So it's going to be 1 over 3. If I was going from B to A, then it would be 3. But if I'm going from A to B, it's 1 over 3. So the scale factor is 1 over 3. So this sentence here is what gets you the mark. An enlargement or stretch gets you 1 mark. By scale factor, a third gets you a 2nd mark. And then the 3rd mark is 5, 1. At the center of enlargement, 5, 1. Okay, so that's number 7 there. And then we go on to this paper. We've got 14, 30. Okay, so we've got 2 more questions to do. So here we have a Venn diagram. So the Venn diagram, we have 31 students. C is the students who have a cat. D is the students who have a dog. 1 student is picked from the class. Work out the probability that the student has a dog. Okay. So first of all, if we have 31 students in class, this plus this plus this plus this equals 31. Simplify this is 3x plus 13 is 31. That's 28 and that's 18. 3x is 18, so x is equal to 6. If x is equal to 6, then this number here is 12 and this number here is 8. One student from the class is picked at random. Work out the probability that the student has a dog. So how many students have dogs? You might think 12, but no. These students here, these 5 students, they have a cat and they have a dog. So do they have a dog? Yes. So it's 5 add 12. 17 of them have a dog. So the probability that a student has a dog is 17 out of 31 students in the class. 17 out of 31 is your answer. One of the students who has a cat is picked at random. So one of the students who has a cat is picked at random. That means that one of these students is picked. Now, before reading any further, I know that the answer to this question has to be out of the total number of people who own a cat, which is 6 add 5, 11. So it's going to be something out of 11. Work out the probability that the student has a dog. So how many of the people in this red circle have a dog? 5. So the answer is 5. Right, and number 30. F of x is equal to that. F of x is equal to x over 3 add 4. G of x is equal to 6x squared add 3. So what does f of x do to its input? It divides it by 3 and then adds 4. What does g of x do? It squares it, it then multiplies that by 6 and then adds 3. Work out f g of x. So when we've got something like this is called a composite function. I like to rewrite this as f of g of x, like that, f of g of x. And I can replace this square bracket by 6x squared plus 3. So it's f of 6x squared add 3. Now what does function f do? Well, it divides it by 3 and then adds 4. So if I divide this by 3, that would give me 2x squared add 1, and then I add 4 to it. So that would simplify to 2x squared plus 5. Give your answer in the form of that. Oh, okay, we actually answered the question. So 2x squared add 5. Okay, and that is all of the questions that I wanted to do. So I have gone through some of the other harder questions. They are in the recording of the class for lesson number 24. So you guys can check that out in the class. We will finish there. Does anyone have any questions?